McWilliams Arroyo, 16-2 with 14 knockouts. McWilliams Arroyo is a very tough opponent for Roman Gonzalez. That's why it's kind of funny that it seems like Gonzalez's fight isn't getting as much credit as it deserves because, along with the fact that a lot of people are plainly, willfully ignorant to the weight classes, all of the weight classes of boxing. It'd be like me being ignorant to the fact that McLaren is a Formula One racing team that regularly kicks ass of like BMW and shit. And but not realizing that they've created street cars that blow away damn near any and every Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bugatti, all that shit. Albeit except for a couple of the new models, but that's car talk. That's boxing talk. The main point is McWilliams Arroyo, if you actually look at his history, if you actually watch some of his fights, is an extremely dangerous fighter. He knocked out Miguel Tamayo in 4 rounds, knocked him down 3 times on his way to knocking him out in 4. Miguel Tamayo went on to get knocked out by Gary Russell Jr. 4 weight classes up. So Arroyo is able to knock out a guy more quickly than a knockout artist featherweight. I mean, that says pretty much all you need to know about McWilliams Arroyo's power. Along with the fact that when he fought I'm Not Wrong, what was that, 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, it was for the IBF World Flyweight title. He dropped Wrong in the 6th round, and Wrong pretty much had to foul his way into getting that decision in Thailand, by the way, in his home country, in his hometown. And, he elbowed Arroyo, he hit him in the back of the head, he picked him up and body slammed him, and he wasn't even really warned to get points taken away. No less points taken away at all. But, that's Pat Russell for you. He'll let a lot of things slide, apparently. Or at least he did then, anyway. He's normally a good ref, but terrible job in that fight. So, basically, Arroyo is a knockout artist who should be one of the other titleists in the flyweight division. There's basically only 3 flyweight titleists. Well, I mean 4 if you want to count Kazuto Ioka, his WBA interim belt, but most people don't generally count those. The real champions are Roman Gonzalez, WBC and Ring Magazine champion, lineal champion. Juan Francisco Estrada, WBA Super and WBO champion, unified. And I'm Not Wrong, IBF champion. In spite of the fact that Arroyo, he basically beat Wrong, but he didn't actually get the decision. So, basically you have a guy that's no less than really top 5, and if you want to be nitpicky, maybe top 10. If you want to be nitpicky, I'd say definitely top 5, because he, to me, beat the guy that's rated, no worse than number 3 in the division, so he's got to be number 3, number 4 in the division. McWilliams Arroyo, a guy with big punching power, a guy at Roman Gonzalez's 3rd weight class with big punching power. What other world champions? What other pound-for-pound fighters? Yeah, and fuck the pound-for-pound fighters argument, but what other world champions, any world titleist in all of boxing right now, is fighting a knockout artist opponent who's arguably one of the top 3 to 5 guys in their division? Who? Is Gennady Golovkin fighting Daniel Jacobs? No. Is Saul Canelo Alvarez fighting Golovkin? No. Is he fighting Jacobs? No. Is Canelo fighting Curtis Stevens? No. Is Andre Ward fighting Adonis Stevenson? Nope. Is he fighting Arthur Beterbiev? Fuck it. Let's go with a guy that's a bit of a novice. Arthur Beterbiev, a guy with a big punch, but a novice. Nah, no. Shit. Well, Sergey Kovalev, I guess you could say. Jean Pascal. He's at least approaching the danger level of an Arroyo. At least in the first fight, anyway. After that first fight, the second fight was basically waste of time. Anybody who really knew what it was, knew that Kovalev got through the rough spots in that first fight and was going to dismantle in the second one, which he did handily. Fight lasted too long, frankly. I mean, otherwise, the only other guys you really have is Deontay Wilder versus Alexander Povetkin is a comparable fight. Wilder's got the balls, got the guts to fight a guy that's been knocking dudes clean out. Mike Perez, Carlos Takam. Those are good wins for Povetkin, in spite of the fact that he failed miserably against Klitschko. You got Tyson Fury. He at least took the shot at Vladimir Klitschko. Something that Povetkin actually ducked for 5 years. And, Klitschko's definitely a knockout artist. And, he schooled him, and now he's fighting him again. He signed on for the rematch clause in the whole nine. So, he's locked into a dangerous fight. Charles Martin, at least, showed some guts. And he got paid for it. But, hey, I guess it comes with the territory. High risk, high reward. That's what Martin did against Anthony Joshua. So, basically, Roman Gonzalez is doing what pretty much nobody else except for the heavyweights are doing. Where's all these other guys fighting these dangerous punchers? I guess you might say Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, aside from the fact that, their fight's been postponed so many times, and Thurman hasn't exactly been looking as devastatingly destructive lately, in any case. Errol Spence blew out Algieri. You can't even really compare him necessarily. What knockout artist is Manny Pacquiao. What knockout artist is Manny Pacquiao fighting against right now? Tim Bradley. A guy that people knew would present maybe a technical challenge, but not a physical threat in that sense. I'm just going off the dome here too. Erislandy Lara, I guess he's fighting Vanes Martirosyan. Yeah, Martirosyan can crack a little bit, but and you know what? And I give him credit for Martirosyan because that's a draw. He's looking to avenge it, and so I'm not even gonna get on him about that. That's at least approaching the level, like I said about Kovalev with Pascal. And actually, I'd put it even above Kovalev and Pascal. I put that above it because Martirosyan's always a dangerous opponent. Regardless of any BS that he's had in the past. But who else? Who else, man? Carl Frampton's talking a lot. Yeah, sure, he beat Scott Quigg, but anybody and everybody knew that the two of them, as much as they were talking, Frampton was favored in that fight for one, and secondly, the guy that loomed in the shadows was always Rigondeaux, who himself isn't even fighting. So, we'll see what goes on there. But, like I said, this is about Gonzalez and Arroyo, man. Who else in boxing is fighting a guy that's a legit knockout threat? Not only that, but a legit knockout threat that's a legit bigger fighter than them. This is Gonzalez's third weight class, not his first one. Ward's just moving up to his second one. So when he fights Kovalev, yeah, then it'll be comparable. But, otherwise, who else on the horizon aside from the heavyweights is getting down? Pause, I guess, it's, who else is, getting in there looking to do the damn thing? I guess maybe, like the dude I mentioned before, Ganigan Lopez, he's looking to get revenge on Pedro Guevara. Krzysztof Glowacki coming off his big win with Steve Cunningham. Well, hey, Krzysztof Glowacki, props to him. Took the tough fight against Huck, although, he was going in there as the challenger. Tough fight against Cunningham, but, Cunningham again, older, more sharp-worn type guy. Glowacki, really should have been favored. But he did call out Lebedev. And him versus Lebedev is on this level. But, once again, who else is doing it right now? Who else is doing it within the next, little while, the next month or so? Matter of fact, let me pull up the schedule. Let me take a look. Roman Martinez ducked Miguel Berchelt. Because that was a fight that was just like this. But now he wants to fight. Now he wants to fight little Lomachenko coming up that lost to Salido. Uchiyama was supposed to do the damn thing against either Walters and Fortuna. That didn't come off. Let me see. Let's see. Durrell. Who's Durrell? Oh, man. The Durrells are fighting Truex and Caparello. Nope and nope. Let's see. Badu Jao, Lucien Butte. All right. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit more in the right direction. Butte at least gave DeGale a tough fight. I wouldn't say he beat DeGale the way that Arroyo really beat Wrong, but at least that's closer. That's approaching it. And Badu Jack, frankly, should have been. He probably was the fighter of the year last year. If we're really being honest about who beat who at what time and what was the biggest win, what was the biggest wins, plural. I mean, Francisco Vargas, Orlando Salido, not quite on that level. I favor Vargas to beat down Salido. I mean, otherwise, like I said, who else? I mean, DeGale versus Porky Medina. A lot of people are joking around and everything. I mean, even me included to a certain degree. But DeGale's definitely favored over Medina, bar none. Medina, the punch is the only thing that he has, and I guess DeGale's somewhat suspect stamina. I mean, I guess Huey Fury against Fred Cassie, another heavyweight. Go figure. Let's see. Everybody knows what the Con Alvarez thing is about, so I guess Con would be equivalent to Gonzalez in this case. Aside from the fact that Con really shouldn't even be like anywhere near ranked to fight for a middleweight title, but that's how it is sometimes, right? Yeah, I'm looking through most of these fights, and most of these guys are clear favorites, and the opponent doesn't even have a puncher's chance in a lot of these cases. Doesn't even have a fucking puncher's chance. I mean, they're gonna get outskilled, and technically schooled like a motherfucker, and they don't even have the big punch to fall back on, just in case. So that if they're getting their ass whooped, maybe they could at least go out on their shield with some shit worth a damn. Relegating themselves to getting outboxed in decision like a punk. Yeah, man. I'm already at the end of May, and at least I guess Lara Matarosi and Charlo, John Jackson is close to the level. It doesn't quite meet it yet though. But you gotta go all the way to Wilder Pervikin for this shit. Oh, man. It's amazing the double standards, man. It's amazing the double standards of this sport sometimes. But hey, Roman Gonzalez, at the end of the day, it's up to him to show and prove. McWilliams Arroyo is an opponent that's not getting the credit that he deserves for being a damn good fighter. But, people will see. If and when Roman Gonzalez beats him, and then Arroyo goes on to show that he's still a badass outside of fighting the Gonzalezes of the world, then I guess at that point we'll see. Or if and then if McWilliams Arroyo wins, then all he did was prove me right. That he really was the most dangerous opponent for any elite fighter to be fighting. This year. And probably most of last year, aside from maybe a couple of examples. But, I don't know, man. I guess that's it. Arroyo is equivalent to if Golovkin fought Jacobs, if Canelo fought Jacobs, if Ward fought Stevenson or Beterbiev. That's the level that we're dealing with. Knockout threat. Gonzalez has to fight a near flawless performance to make sure that Arroyo doesn't take his head off. And that's real talk.